Hi, my name is Jeff Krell, Aircraft Sales Representative for Flightline Group, and I'm here today to talk to you about the new Piper M600. I will tell you this, I've been flying since I was 16 years old for well over 35 years, and I love flying this airplane. It's a whole lot of fun to fly, it's a stable machine, and it's got all the great avionics that anyone could ever ask for in an aircraft. Other features of this aircraft also include pressurization. It includes 6-place configuration, extremely comfortable even for the folks in the back. In fact, the other day I was flying with my 14-year-old daughter and she fell asleep in the co-pilot seat. That's how comfortable, how smooth, how stable, and with the pressurization we could cruise at 26,000 feet at 274 knots. It's an #1 airplane, and boy, it's a whole lot of fun to fly. So let's talk today about this great airplane. Okay, so here we are sitting up front in the new M600. So what I'm going to do is simply walk you through the start of this particular aircraft, which is actually very simple to do. We just need to watch a few things. So first of all, the system is up and running in its standby position. We can see the engine instruments. We can see, most importantly, that we've got at least 24 volts, which is real important. We want to make sure we have enough power to start this wonderful turbine engine. So what we'll do is we'll check the voltage, then we'll come up, we'll turn fuel pumps on, ignition on, and then we'll get ready for the start. So let's let the excitement begin and let you walk through it. Here we'll hear the turbine starting to spool up, getting airflow through the engine. Once it gets up to about 14 to 15 NG, then we'll go ahead and add fuel, and then it'll start the power. Now we can hear that beautiful turbine engine running and all the power available to the aircraft. Once everything stabilizes, we're going to put the generator on, put an alternator on, and then we're also putting avionics, and we're going to put ignition to the off position. So it's a real simple airplane. Pilots that have the private pilot instrument rating and some complex flight time can find this airplane to be very easy to operate. Piper's made it very simplistic in that sense. It's a very easy start. Unlike most piston power type aircraft, we don't have to worry about vapor loss or anything of that nature. It's just a real simple airplane to get started. And today I'd like to talk about the G3000 and how great this instrument panel is. If you notice, we've shut the engine down just simply to save fuel, and basically we don't need to be running the engine to really demonstrate the features of this wonderful instrument panel. So I'm going to treat it like I would normally treat if I was flying. I want to go through a flow, basically starting from the center here and go all the way clockwise around the instrument panel. So we're going to start out here with the GTN 570s. These are a touchscreen display. They're very similar in nature to the GNS 430s, but now of course it's a touchscreen display. And quite frankly, if you own an iPhone and you're used to app functions, this is going to be real easy to operate and real easy to understand. Just a little bit of training and a little bit of experience with it, and you'll get through it very easily. Real simple. You'll see the different applications just like on an iPhone. Mapping settings, traffic, weather, terrain, flight planning, procedures. We even have XM radios, so if you want to listen to music, that's available for you. You can also send a text and get email. So it's a really cool feature, very functional, and just a wealth of information for the pilot for any kind of trip, whether you're in hard IFR or just having a simple VFR fun flight. So that's the GTN 570s. As we move left around the instrument panel, the next cool feature really to talk about is pressurization in the M600. Piper makes it for a very simple and very safe system. What's new about the M600 is that for pressurization, you don't have to really worry about turning a dial to the altitude you're going to, meaning if you're going to 25,000 feet, you don't have to turn the dial to 25,000 feet, and you don't have to worry about really the elevation of the airport you're landing. As long as that elevation is plugged into the flight plan for your destination airport, the computer automatically calculates where the pressurization of the aircraft needs to be. So pressurized comfort all the way up to 26,000, or excuse me, up to 30,000 feet. And it's a nice smooth ride, and it works very easily. The only two things you got to remember is simply you're going to put the bleed air on, and then you're going to switch it to a normal mode, and that's simply the flow rate. Now, safety-wise, what's great about Piper's system in the M600 is that if you're cruising at altitude and the cabin comes up to 10,000 feet, then you're going to get an annunciation, a warning regarding that. That's not the end of the world. It's just telling you, hey, the cabin's at 10,000 feet. And if you're up around 28,000 feet, then that's probably a fairly normal thing. But if the cabin goes to 12,000 feet and above, then it's going to go into a warning mode, and it's actually going to automatically shift this rate, this bleed air rate, to the emergency mode. And it's going to do its best to make sure that the cabin altitude maintains at least 14,000 feet, and obviously keeping you awake and alert, so that way you can address the emergency and bring the airplane down. If for some reason that fails, on top of that, then it has an additional system that if you're, let's say you're at altitude and the cabin goes to 14 or goes above 14,000 feet, then the system, the Garmin system, can ask you, hey, are you okay? Are you awake? And if you don't respond to that, then the autopilot will automatically descend the airplane down to 12,000 feet. Level the aircraft, down to 12,000 feet. Then after a period of time, it's then going to ask you again if you're okay. If you don't respond, it will then descend the airplane down to 10,000 feet and hold it there. So all kinds of safety features about the pressurization system. It's really simple to use. It's very safe, very reliable, and you're just going to absolutely love it. I know I do. So coming over here, real simple, we have our air conditioning system and our heat controls. Then coming up to this section here, this is your standby. It's an Aspen 1000. It will display obviously your attitude, airspeed, and altitude, and then also give you a heading display as well. It's an ADAHRS based system and very simple to use. As we come across the panel, of course, we have a 12-inch PFD, and we also have a Copilot's 12-inch PFD. And what's great about this feature in the G3000 is now we can split this mode, or this display, and do what we call a 40-60 split. So real simple, if I want to, I'm going to have my primary information, airspeed, altitude, attitude, and direction, of course, and a whole array of other features as well. But we can split this now, and on 40% of that display, I could put something like, if I want to put traffic there and see what traffic is, or if I want to put weather. So what's really cool is I could choose my radar, and I could display radar on this side and see what's right in front of me. If I'm doing an approach and I've got weather in front of me, it's a really nice feature to have designated in front of me, and keep your scan within one particular location. Really neat stuff. We can also do that same feature in the MFD. We can split the MFD if we wanted to and do a 50-50 split. And again, we can choose from a whole array of the different apps, as I call it. Anything from map display to traffic, terrain, even you can display your XM channels if you wanted to. So really nice feature. Another really cool thing that I like to do is if I'm in severe weather, I'm worried about radar. This aircraft, of course, has onboard radar. I could display radar on this side as well, so I could have it in front of me, and I could display what the weather is directly in front of our nose. And then ideally what you want to see is what the weather is 10,000 feet below you, because if you're going through thunderstorms, generally thunderstorms are building from 10,000 feet and coming up. So you want to keep an eye of what's below you as well, at least out in the distance. So again, you can set it up to where it's going to tilt straight out in front of you and see what's happening, and then you can tilt the radar down to see what's happening 10,000 feet below you, and it will display that particular weather and cycle it back and forth, and you can watch over. Really cool stuff. Okay, so now that we've talked about radar, let's talk about the final features of this particular panel. So we come across, we also have the PFD. It's got the same kind of function as what you see on the primary PFD. We can split the screen just like we did on the pilot side. We can simply do it on the co-pilot side, and we could display something like terrain over on this side. So we could have weather, we could have traffic, and we could have terrain all displayed in all three displays. Really cool stuff. Coming down through here, of course, we've got the flaps. A nice feature about the M600 is we simply just have a full up setting, then we have a takeoff setting, and then we have a landing setting. Another great feature about this particular aircraft is in its autopilot system. It's not only the GFC 700 with the smart servos, but it also has what we call extended stability protection. It's got an underspeed and an overspeed protection, and then also has that feature we talked about as far as concerns with pressurization. So real simple, we have what they call the level button. Piper, I guess, calls it the blue button. And what's really neat about that feature is if the autopilot's not on and you're flying the aircraft along the way, and for some reason you feel uneasy, or you have some situation where you want to do a simple engage of the autopilot, you simply hit the level button and the airplane will automatically engage the autopilot and put the wings in a wings level mode. And then what's also cool about this is if you were to, let's say, bring the power back and slow the aircraft down, the autopilot will automatically continue to keep the airplane and wings level, and as the airplane slows down close to stall speed, it will keep the airplane from stalling. So basically it'll lower the nose and hold about 88 knots, and of course it'll signify that. It'll say underspeed, and then it'll say stall, and then right before the stall it'll start lowering the nose. So really cool feature. Another great thing about this airplane or the stability protection type system is if you overbank the aircraft, it's just like driving a car. You start going off out of the lane, the steering automatically bumps you back into the lane. Well, it works kind of the same way. Airplane starts to bank over to the 45 degrees. The autopilot's not on. It says, hey, this isn't quite right. It kind of nudges you back to keep that bank from overextending itself, and it helps you identify that particular situation. If you do it too many times and get it really mad, then it's going to automatically engage itself into the level mode, and it's going to automatically level the wings. If you want to disengage that, then you're simply just going to hit the autopilot disengage, and you're all set. So really a wonderful, safe feature about the airplane. Now, let's talk about the fun stuff. So what's really great about this airplane is its speed. This airplane will cruise at 274 knots I've seen it at 26,000 feet, and you're burning about 45 gallons an hour. So it's real efficient, fuel burn wise. It's a real fast airplane. And again, it's a real stable airplane. It's heavier. It's got a heavier feel to it. Like I said earlier about flying my daughter down to Vero Beach, she slept the whole way, and we went through a little bit of turbulence and going through the clouds, and you just simply don't feel the bumps at all on this airplane. Really smooth. Another great feature about it is its range. Technically, you can fly this airplane close to 1,500 nautical miles. So basically, you got 260 gallons of gas available, Jet A, of course, and plenty of range for this aircraft. What it really means to me, though, is if I want to do a trip, let's say a solid 800 nautical mile trip, and I want to make sure I have plenty of IFR gas on board, and I want to take a good load of people, 4 or 5 people, then I can do that very easily in this airplane. Have plenty of gas, no worries about how much fuel I have when I'm getting into my destination. If I got to make a change or whatever, I've got that available to me. So the extra fuel in this wing and this airplane just makes a world of difference. It's really a wonderful airplane to fly. Simplicity of flying the aircraft, again, because it's a very stable platform, coming around in the pattern, even on a VFR day, you're going to slow the airplane down to around 95 knots around the pattern, and you're going to come into short final, 85 knots over the numbers, and the airplane's literally just going to roll right onto the runway. It's got wonderful directional stability, directional control rather. You got a big rudder. The main landing gear is about a foot wider than what you see in most Malibus. And again, the extra weight just makes for a real stable airplane, real easy airplane to land, a whole lot of fun to operate.